Did you know that one of the most valuable tiaras in British history was stolen, smashed, and destroyed in less than 90 seconds? We assume royal tiaras are eternal. We assume they stay in the family forever. But the truth is much darker. Today, we are opening the police files on the jewelry world's biggest mysteries. We are talking about heists, betrayals, and the tragic destruction of priceless art. From the frozen streets of Russia to a scandalous bathtub photo that shocked the world, these are the 10 royal tiaras that vanished into thin air. And the question is, are they gone for good? The Northumberland strawberry leaf. We begin our journey in the high aristocracy of Great Britain with a family that rivals the Windsors in wealth. The Dukes of Northumberland. Their seat is Alnwick Castle. Yes, the real-life Hogwarts. And their vaults were once home to the Northumberland strawberry leaf tiara. Now, the origin of this piece is fascinating because it didn't start as a tiara at all. It began its life as a sword. Yes, you heard that right. The diamonds that dazzled on the head of the Duchess originally adorned a ceremonial sword presented by King George IV. When the sword's fighting days were over, the family decided those diamonds were too good to waste, transforming them into a masterpiece featuring the strawberry leaf, a specific design symbol reserved only for the highest ranks of nobility. For decades, this tiara was the pride of the family, worn at coronations and state banquets. But in 1963, the story takes a turn for the worse. The Dowager Duchess, Helen Percy, had just retrieved the tiara from the bank. Perhaps she felt safe. Perhaps she didn't think a thief would be watching a duchess. But as her car sat parked, disaster struck. In a matter of moments, the tiara was snatched from the vehicle. Unlike other stories where the police swoop in and save the day, this file remains open. The Northumberland strawberry leaf tiara was never seen again. Was it broken apart within hours, the diamonds sold in London's underground markets? Or is it sitting in a private collection today, its dark history a secret to its new owner? We may never know. Queen Sophia's diamond and pearl tiara. While the Northumberland tiara was lost to a stranger, our next loss is far more personal. It involves a betrayal of trust that shook the Swedish royal family to its core. Let's look at Queen Sophia's diamond and pearl tiara. This was a delicate, airy piece, featuring intricate diamond latticework crowned at sisu with shimmering pearls. It was an heirloom that had passed down through generations until it reached Princess Christina, the sister of the current king of Sweden. Christina didn't keep this locked in a dark bank vault. She kept it at home, a beloved piece of her heritage. In 2012, the princess and her husband welcomed a young man into their home. He was a refugee they were mentoring, someone they trusted and treated like family. But that trust was weaponized against them. Over time, he began siphoning off jewelry, including this priceless tiara. When the theft was finally discovered, and the young man confessed, the police asked the most important question: where is it? His answer was a dagger to the heart of history lovers everywhere. He hadn't sold it to a master thief. He hadn't smuggled it out of the country. In a panic, he had taken this piece of 19th century artistry and thrown it off a bridge in Stockholm. Divers were sent into the freezing waters. They searched the muddy bottom for days, but the current had done its work. Queen Sophia's tiara was gone, washed away into the Baltic Sea, likely buried under silt where it will remain forever. A tragic end to a royal legacy. Maria Alexandrovna's diamond fringe tiara. From the icy waters of Sweden, we move to the freezing snows of Russia and a dynasty that lost everything, the Romanovs. The fringe tiara is a classic Russian design mimicking the traditional kokoshnik headdress. It looks like a wall of diamond spikes, a halo of light radiating from the wearer. This specific fringe belonged to Grand Duchess Maria Alexandrovna. When she married the son of Queen Victoria, she brought her massive jewelry collection to England, and eventually, this piece passed down to the Romanian and Yugoslavian royal families. But here is where history intervenes. The 20th century was not kind to royals in Eastern Europe. Monarchies fell, palaces were seized, and queens became refugees. The tiara ended up with Queen Maria of Yugoslavia. Living in exile, stripped of her throne and her income, she faced a brutal reality. You cannot eat prestige. To survive, To pay for houses and food and the lifestyle expected of a queen, she had to sell the family silver, or in this case, the family diamonds. In 1960, this glorious Russian masterpiece was put up for auction at Sotheby's in London. It was purchased by a jewelry dealer for a mere £10,800, and that is where the trail goes cold. Us usually, dealers buy tiaras to resell them, but this one never resurfaced. The prevailing theory is heartbreaking. Because the fringe design is made of upright bars, it is very easy to break apart. It is almost certain that this tiara was dismantled. The diamonds popped out and sold as rings or earrings to people who had no idea they were wearing the ruins of the Romanov Empire. The Bavarian Sunburst Tiara. While the Romanov tiara was likely destroyed for cash, our next mystery involves a piece that looked like it defied gravity. This is the Bavarian Sunburst Tiara. Just look at it. It is bold, it is geometric, and it is utterly unique. It belonged to Infanta Paz of Spain, who married into the Bavarian royal house. The design features a massive central diamond cluster with rays of diamonds shooting upwards, all mimicking the rising sun over the mountains. For over a century, this was the showstopper of the Bavarian collection. It survived World War I. It survived the fall of the German monarchies. It even survived World War II, hidden away from looting armies. It was seen as recently as 2010 and 2012 at high-profile royal weddings, worn by the current generation of Bavarian princesses. It seemed safe, but then, in 2013, it quietly appeared in a Sotheby's catalog. The noble family had decided to sell. Now, selling a tiara isn't a crime, but what happened next is a mystery. The tiara was purchased by a private buyer and has vanished from the public eye completely. Is it sitting in a vault in Geneva? Is it in a private museum in the Middle East? Or has it been modified beyond recognition? When a piece like this enters the private collection void, and it is effectively lost to history until the owner decides to show it off, if they ever do. Queen Maud's Pearl Tiara. Now, if you thought the theft of the strawberry leaf tiara was dramatic, wait until you hear about the heist of Queen Maud's Pearl Tiara. This is a story that proves even the crown jewelers aren't safe. Queen Maud of Norway was originally a British princess, a daughter of King Edward VII. Her tiara was a stunning scrolling design with a diamond base and diamond and pearl uprights. It was the signature piece of the Norwegian queens. In 1995, the Norwegian royal family did what responsible jewel owners do. They sent the tiara to London, to Gerard, the official crown jeweler, for cleaning and maintenance. Gerard is supposed to be a fortress, but in February of that year, thieves managed to break in. They didn't grab random items. They knew what the bee were looking for. They snatched Queen Maud's tiara and vanished into the London night. The police investigation was massive, but the tiara was never found. It is almost certainly gone forever, dismantled for the value of the pearls and diamonds. However, the story has a bittersweet ending. The loss was so devastating to the Norwegian royals that Gerard created an exact replica to replace the stolen one. So, when you see Queen Sonja of Norway today wearing this design, remember, you are looking at a ghost, a beautiful copy of a treasure that was stolen by greed, the Harewood Scroll Tiara. From a heist in London, we move to the quiet countryside of Yorkshire and the tragedy of the Harewood Scroll Tiara. This piece belonged to Princess Mary, the only daughter of King George V. And Mary was known as a jewel magpie. She had a massive, enviable collection. This specific tiara was a delicate, feminine confection of diamond scrolls and floral motifs. It was elegant, understated, and quintessentially royal. But Princess Mary's death in 1965 triggered the one thing aristocratic families fear more than revolution: inheritance tax. The bill was astronomical. To save the estate and the house, her son was forced to liquidate her jewelry collection. In 1970, a massive auction was held at Christie's. The Harewood Scroll was lot number 1. It sold for a relatively modest sum to a jewelry dealer. And, as we have learned with the Romanov fringe, when a dealer buys a tiara, its days are usually numbered. The Harewood Scroll has not been seen since that day in 1970. Because it was designed with small, high-quality diamonds, while it was likely an ideal candidate to be broken up into brooches and rings. Somewhere, perhaps in your own jewelry box, there might be a diamond that once sat on the head of the Princess Royal, now unrecognizable and separated from its sisters. The Portland tiara hold onto your seats, because this next story is pure adrenaline. We are talking about the Portland tiara, and this is a loss that happened so recently, the wounds are still fresh. The Portland tiara was a national treasure of the United Kingdom. Commissioned for the 1902 coronation, it was a massive rectangular diamond shield, featuring the famous Portland diamond at its center. It lived in the Portland Collection Gallery in Nottinghamshire, protected by armored glass and state-of-the-art alarms. But on a cold night in November 2018, a gang of professional thieves arrived. They didn't pick the lock. They used power tools to slice through the armored glass while the alarms screamed. Within 90 seconds, they had grabbed the tiara and a matching brooch. They jumped into an Audi RS4 and sped away, leaving police in the dust. Later, the getaway car was found in a field, burned to a crisp. Despite arrests being made years later, the tiara itself has never been recovered. Experts believe it was flown out of the country within hours, or worse, smashed to pieces that very night. The loss of the Portland tiara is considered one of the greatest cultural tragedies of modern Britain, a piece of history destroyed in 90 seconds for a quick payout. The Poltimore tiara. Our next tiara wasn't stolen by thieves, but many royal watchers feel it was stolen from history. We are talking about the Poltimore tiara. You know this tiara. Even if you don't know the name, you know the image. This is the towering diamond crown worn by Princess Margaret, the Queen's sister, at her wedding in 1960. It is also the tiara she wore in that scandalous, iconic photograph taken by her husband, where she sits in a bathtub wearing nothing but the Poltimore. It was the symbol of Margaret's rebellious, glamorous spirit. When Margaret passed away, her children, Lord Linley and Lady Sarah Chatto, were faced with a crushing 40% inheritance tax bill. They had a choice: sell the family silver or sell the mother's jewels. They chose the jewels. In 2006, the Poltimore was the star lot at Christie's. The world watched in shock as the gavel fell at £926,400. The buyer was an anonymous private collector from Asia. Since that day, the Poltimore has vanished. It has left the royal ecosystem entirely. While it likely still exists in one piece, the fact that such an iconic piece of British royal history was sold off like a piece of furniture remains a sore spot for monarchists to this day. It is the one that got away, Queen Elizabeth's Cartier bandeau. Let's change the mood and travel to Belgium, to the roaring 1920s. Queen Elizabeth of Belgium was a woman of immense style. She loved the Art Deco movement, the sharp lines, the geometry, the modernism. She commissioned Cartier to create a diamond bandeau that perfectly captured the era. It was a double row of diamonds, sleek and sophisticated, worn low on the forehead. It was a masterpiece of design. So, where did it go? This story involves a bit of family drama. After the queen died, the tiara didn't go to the next queen. It went to her son, King Leopold III, who gave it to his second wife, Princess Lillian. Now, Lillian was controversial. She was never fully accepted by the Belgian public, and she had expensive taste. In 1987, years after the king's death, Lillian quietly sold the bandeau back to Cartier. In a way, this is the happiest ending on our list. The tiara wasn't destroyed, it wasn't stolen, but it is missing from the royal vaults. It is now part of the private Cartier collection, occasionally shown in museum exhibits, but never to be worn by a Belgian queen again. It has transitioned from a royal regalia to a museum artifact, the Boucheron loop tiaras. Finally, we arrive at a mystery that forces us to ask, at what point does a tiara stop existing? This is the tale of the Boucheron loop tiaras. Note the plural. Originally, and this design of 14 diamond loops was associated with the Romanovs, specifically Grand Duchess Xenia. It was a marvel of engineering, The loops could be detached and worn as necklaces or brooches. But the most famous version of this missing tiara involves Queen Mary of England. In 1902, she commissioned a loop tiara from Boucheron, using 675 diamonds gifted to her by De Beers. It was magnificent. But Queen Mary was unsentimental. She looked at the loop tiara and didn't see a masterpiece. She saw spare parts. Around 1911, she decided she wanted a new crown for the Delhi Durbar in India. She didn't want to buy new diamonds, so she took the Boucheron loop tiara and she cannibalized it. She had the jeweler rip the diamonds out of their settings to pave the way for her new creation. So, is the Boucheron loop missing? Physically, yes. The frame was likely melted down, but the soul of the tiara, the diamonds themselves, are still there, hiding in plain sight, sitting on the heads of Camilla and Kate, recycled into new shapes. It is the ultimate act of royal recycling, proving that in the world of high jewelry, nothing is ever truly wasted. But I have to ask you, which loss hurts the most? Do you wish the police could find the Portland tiara? Or do you dream of the Romanov fringe resurfacing in an attic somewhere? Let me know your theories in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the mysteries of the royal vaults, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We have many more secrets to uncover, and you won't want to miss the next one.